If you're in Seattle, and you need to buy or sell a home, we'll be right there for you. Because we're the realtors that you can trust. So go to ronanddonsitdown.com.
You're listening to The Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Hey, you guys, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of the Ron and Don Show, and we are back live in the Les Rock studio.
What is up, Ron and Don Nation?
Hey, coming up on the Ron and Don Show, we got a Coldplay update. Remember that couple? They went to Coldplay, and now one of the husbands is speaking out, and it's outrageous. Also, we got to talk about what we're listening to, reading, or watching, and I do have an update on my favorite podcast. Before we get to that, though, let's get to this. Some new information out. The president is having his second state visit, which they say is unheard of. Over in the United Kingdom right now, he's hanging out with Prince Charles, which that just got to be...
King Charles.
Or King Charles. Sorry about that. That has to be a lot of fun. And they say usually once you have one state visit, which you had during his first term, you don't get a second one. The second visit, you go all the way from a state visit where they have this huge dinner for you and they roll you around in chariots and everybody comes to greet you off the plane and they have like 150, 200 horses out and it's just, it's quite a show.
A lot of pomp and circumstance.
Yeah, it's quite a show. And then like in Buckingham Palace or Windsor, wherever they are, they'll put on like this big state dinner. They say the second time around, all you get is a little shitty tea. You have a little tea.
The royal tea is pretty impressive.
The royalty is?
Yeah, the royal tea.
That's what you get the second time around. Why do you believe, and then we have to talk about the sleeping arrangements. Why do you believe that King Charles is doing this second state dinner, which they say has never been done before? Why is it being done?
Boy, it seems like all roads lead back to tariffs and like this mentality of wanting to do individual deals with all these different countries. And that's the only answer that I can come up with. I think it's that mechanism really appeals to Donald Trump in that I can go to each country. They sort of, you see all these gifts that he's getting and special things for him and his family. And then the ancillary gift, if you will, which is, it's shocking to me is, instead of it being a 25% tariff, now it's going to be a 15% tariff. Look at how great I did, even though he was the one that raised it from 2% to 25% in the beginning. And then to chop it in half, he takes as a victory, which that's the only thing that I can see. What is there something I'm missing?
Well, he gets this invitation from the prime minister a number of months ago. And the prime minister was there because he was sitting there and he's sitting next to a number of leaders from Europe and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do about Ukraine. And the mess with Zelensky had just happened in the Oval Office. And so he walked in there and he said, Mr. President, and he did it in a very public way. And he said, I have this very special invitation for you from the king for another state visit, which they say that President Trump really likes. He likes the pomp, the circumstance.
He likes to be buttered up.
Yeah, and so in going over there, the Europeans love him being over there because they do want to talk about tariffs and then they do want to talk about safety, right? Like Poland, they just had an incursion and they're like, wow, we're calling everybody up that we can right now and we're out doing war games and we're practicing. And
Sidebar, what did you think of the giant Trump Jeffrey Epstein photo projected onto the castle from a high-powered projector and like a 100-yard photograph being rolled out onto the lawn?
I couldn't see it because I was looking at Melania Trump's hat. She has some badass hats. I mean, they say that because you don't see her for months. They say one of the reasons you haven't seen her for months is because she really wanted to go on this trip and that she was planning all her outfits. She's the best dressed over there. And what I don't don't understand though is like I thought when the Queen takes her hat off, you take your hat off. She had her big hat on indoors, and some people say she wears that hat to keep people away from her, and then that way she doesn't have to kiss people and do it and all that stuff, which is a good idea. I've been thinking about wearing one of those hats.
I don't know if women have to remove their hats. I think men have to remove their hats, but I think women, once they understand that it's all tucked into your hair and all that stuff.
Here's the deal. They say at the castle that they're staying at, there's 1,000 rooms.
Yep.
There's 1,000 rooms in this castle. And then they're saying that the president stayed in a separate room from his wife. What say you about separate rooms? Because my understanding is even in New York, where they have three floors of the Trump building, my understanding is one of those floors is hers. One of those floors is his, and then one is kind of a common area. Is it common for people that have a lot of dough and a lot of money and extra rooms to say, hey, you have a room, I have a room, and I'll meet you in the common area?
I'm going to wait for the $45 million Amazon Prime documentary on Melania to break to give me these answers, because I've been hot ever since they paid that more money.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos did. I've been waiting for that documentary to drop so I can learn things like this. I mean, if you were Melania, with all of the stuff that has surfaced in these presidential
She's
runs,
put up with a lot, whether it's true or not, and some of it has to be true.
I think even the E. Jean Carroll case,
Yeah, she's
there's
put up
probably
with a
some
lot.
stuff that she didn't know that came out with that. And then, so I just think that politically, I believe there's some sort of arrangement of like, look, we can't do a divorce right now.
And since cryptocurrency, his wealth has gone up since he's been
my
in
gosh.
office, $4 billion. They say he's
The
worth
crypto
now
thing.
close to $8 billion because of all the crypto.
Yeah, so-
which she's going to inherit a lot.
I think there's some sort of agreement, for lack of a better
Of course
term. And
there is.
I thought the same thing about the Clintons. Like, there's
course.
just some sort of agreement. It's like, politically, this is what we need to. This is the united front we need. Whether or not there's romance and traditional marriage arrangements, it seems clear that that's not true. And so I think that they just have some kind of arrangement. And if that works for them, I guess great.
If I was staying in
I
a-
literally try to stay out of other people's bedrooms. Like, it doesn't matter to me. It's interesting.
I want to know what's going on in there. Well, if I was going to the castle and I was going with a significant other, but I could have like my own room in the castle, I'd probably want my own room. And
What
I'd say,
would you-
hey, I think it's more exciting to go visit the other person's room. And yeah, you want your own room. As you get older, number one, do you snore?
What would you do?
you snore?
What would you do if you
Answer
need,
the question, jerk. Do you snore?
What would you do if you need help with your cankle socks in the
Yeah.
morning?
Yeah. Do you snore?
I've been told I don't snore.
Oh.
Do you snore?
I'm sure I do. My grandfather was a big snorer, and it's what drove my grandmother. And they only had a 2-bedroom house. I think it was just over 1,100 square feet. But my mom and my aunt used to live in the 1-bedroom, my grandparents in the other. As soon as the girls moved out, my grandmother went right over to that room and established herself. So what she would do is she would go visit my grandpa, whatever you visit for when
Right.
you're in your 80s and your teeth are out. I don't know if things are still happening. Maybe they are. We don't know. I still don't know. I'd like to know. And then sometimes I'd stay over there, and then I'd be out on the sofa bed. You'd see my grandma rotate out. And usually you could hear him down the hall already snoring.
Yeah.
So maybe Trump is a snorer, and she just doesn't like to be around
I
the
agree
snoring.
with you. If I have the opportunity to in a castle,
Yeah.
and it has 1,000 rooms,
I'm going to stay in one of those rooms.
I don't want to stay in a room. I want a wing.
Yeah.
I can be in any one of these 50 rooms.
Yeah.
You don't know what room it's going to be, but maybe one night I'm in room this one and I'm in that room. I want all the rooms.
What else would you want?
50 rooms.
What else would you want? Don't you feel sometimes when you stay in a really decadent hotel, you got to kind of eat everything, use everything when the nightly chocolates
course.
come, and you feel guilty if you don't. It's like
what? In all honesty, I want to see the Royal Hound Pack. I would want to get up in that. I'm not a hunter.
Yeah.
But like, have you seen the Hound Pack? There's like 50, 60
Yeah.
hounds. Like, I would want to go and like release the hounds.
Yeah.
The royal releasing of the hounds. I would love to do that.
I think what's weird is they all got their own little stagecoach, and President Trump was in a stagecoach with the king, and then Melania was with the queen. They were in a different stagecoach.
Is it Queen Camilla?
Yeah. What's weird is they have like, and I counted. There's 3 double horses. There's 6 horses. On one of the horses, there's a rider that rides next to the other horse. There's not a Rain Man that you would see like in an old Western movie.
Right.
So there's 3 guys on horseback sitting next to the other horse, which I didn't like. I would change that up if I was king. I would want a guy up there on the ring. And then the other thing that I'd want to do, if I had the opportunity to, is I've been doing this thing when I travel. Everywhere I go, I ride a horse. I did that when we were out in Ireland. My son and I did out in the we were out in a place called Doolin, and we got to run these horses. It's really incredible. Same when we were in Iceland, on the beaches of Iceland, and when they filmed some of the open shots of Game of Thrones in a snowstorm running a horse out there. I would like to get on one of those royal horses and take it for a gallop. Wouldn't you?
I would pay a significant amount of money to see Donald Trump on a horse.
Yes, I would too. In his
Just
bedroom.
to watch
in
it.
his bedroom. Anyway, I think that whole state dinner thing, man, is pretty cool. And then at the end, where there's like 150, 200 people together, and they're all sitting at the same table.
It's a big table.
Yeah, you talk about some uncomfortable conversations that you have at Thanksgiving. I wonder what the conversations are at that
King
table.
Charles may be the largest property holder in the world.
Yeah,
it's worth hundreds of billions of dollars.
They say he's a great real estate mogul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, more in a minute. Hey, you guys, Ron and Don here for Les Schwab, where I have great news. Guess what? It's the fall, which means the winter's coming, which means summer's going away, rain is coming, snow is coming, ice is coming, and what's the most important thing if you're like me? You want traction. Yeah, whether it's summer, fall, winter, you want traction. And right now at Les Schwab, you can save $120, boom, instantly on select sets of all-terrain tires. These are the exact same tires that I have on both of my rigs, and they offer the all-weather traction every single day, whether it's your commute or you're heading up to Snoqualmie Pass to do some skiing or some snowboarding. And don't forget, as the weather changes around here, you need traction in all terrains, and these tires are dependable, they're all seasoned, and they're designed, like I said, for local commutes or an off-road adventure sometime this fall, Ron.
Yeah, and as always, every tire comes with America's Best Tire warranty, including 60-day satisfaction guarantee and free road hazard protection. That is incredible. Just another way you get more from less. Stop by your neighborhood Les Schwab or learn more at leschwab.com. That's leschwab.com. Limited time offer while supplies last. See leschwab.com/sale for details.
Today's show is made possible by your friends Ron and Don. When you're ready to sit down and strategize about your real estate journey, schedule your time with the guys at ronanddonsitdown.com.
All right, you guys, welcome back to the Ron and Don Show. Let's talk about what we're listening, reading, watching. What do you got? I got some very exciting information I can't wait to share.
I'm going to give you one that you're probably going to roll your eyes on.
Nope.
But I started rereading For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Oh, wow.
Ernie Hemingway.
Why?
I just went to Spain recently.
Oh.
This was his epic book about the war in Spain. And I think I read it in high school for honors English or whatever.
You did.
But it's got a different tinge to it now that I've been in the mountains of northern Spain and I'm reading the story about this war. And since I traveled there, you and I think your love of history rubbed off on me a little bit. Of now that I know more about the culture and I've been there numerous times. So I'm rereading a classic. The other thing it does.
Wait, are you listening to it or are you actually reading?
I bought the book. I bought the book.
Oh, wow.
And so the other thing that I'm enjoying about it is it's obviously pre-internet, pre-cell phone, pre all of that era. So you're in this book where you're not like, there's no references to pop culture. There's no references to the internet. There's no references to technology in that way. It's about these people and going through this war. So I'm cranking open an Ernie Hemingway book.
Yeah.
What about you?
Who does the bell toll for?
Exactly.
Yep. Have you found out yet?
No, I don't know yet.
You don't know.
Might be
What's next?
Pablo.
The Great Gatsby?
No, I just think I read this book from a Spanish writer called The Carpenter's Pencil that was from the war through that lens. That was super interesting. And so I was like, I'm going to bookend this with Ernie Hemingway.
Are you reading it in Spanish?
No, I wish I could learn it.
What made you go buy the book? Because you usually like to listen to books, which I can't listen to books.
Because I thought a 400-page book being read, I wouldn't get through it.
Yeah.
So I'm reading it.
If you were staying at the King's Castle, Would you have them bring you your book every night?
Yes, please bring me my
In your wing?
my book and my cup of tea.
Yeah, that's good. Anyway, I have some very exciting news that I think everybody's going to be very excited about. I check in every week to see if the real Brady Bros, which is Peter Brady and Greg Brady, they have
Hold
their
on,
own.
hold on. I found the sound effect. You're supposed to give the.
Yeah, I was doing. There's a new there's a new episode out. There it is. New episode out. And really, the new episode is not a new episode. It's an old episode, and they're kind of
Reset who this is.
replaying.
Is this Peter Brady and Greg Brady?
I was doing that, and then you interrupted me.
Oh.
I already said it was Peter Brady, Greg Brady, the real Brady Bros. And then what they do is they play the old shows, but because they don't have the licensing agreement, they're not allowed to play them. So they kind of rehash the hash of what's going on the Brady Bunch. And also what is going on. I see, were you a Partridge Family guy?
No, Brady Bunch.
Or Brady Bunch?
100% Brady Bunch.
See, I was a Partridge Family guy. And I have some exciting news. What they replayed this morning was an interview that they did last year with Danny Partridge. And you know who Danny Partridge
Danny
is.
Bonaducci, right?
Danny Bonaducci. So, and
Seattle's
Danny,
own.
Yeah, well, he here's what he goes over. And this is what you get on this podcast of the real Brady Bros. I did not know. Do you remember when when everybody was fighting everyone? Do you remember this? Everybody was
the boxing stuff.
Everybody's getting in a fight.
Can you just, as a sidebar, what are these ages? Like, is Greg Brady or Peter? Are these guys in their 80s?
70s.
70s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in their
And
70s.
Danny Bonaducci's probably late 60s.
I would say.
70s.
I would say probably late 60s.
Okay.
So anyway,
I remember back in the day that Greg was going to box somebody, and that Danny Bonaducci boxed somebody. But I don't think did they fight each other?
They were fighting everyone.
But did Greg and Danny fight each other in a ring?
Well, here's what we found out today.
Okay.
It was initially Peter who was supposed to fight Danny Bonaducci
In a boxing match.
in a boxing match.
Okay.
Yeah. And then what happened is Peter was in negotiation, and then the next thing he knows, it's announced that Greg Brady is now fighting Danny Bonaducci.
What a betrayal.
And Danny Bonaducci, I believe, had already fought Donny Osmond, or maybe Greg Brady fought Donny Osmond. Here's what I didn't know. The fix was in on all these fights. The fix was in. Each guy got paid, I think, like $40,000, which they said was a lot of money.
I
to
thought
do
that
these fights.
Bonaducci was a legit fighter, though.
He was, but he was saying that he was so high then and so just on steroids, and he was smoking a lot and doing a lot of drugs. He said he could only last in the ring for about 30 seconds. But he was a black belt. He was all these things. He said, but I couldn't last very long because I was so
His
high.
heart was going to explode.
Yeah, the whole time. So anyway, he did talk about the fact that it was these fights that he was doing that kind of reinvigorated his career. And then the other thing, I didn't know this, is David Cassidy, who was the oldest
Bay City Roller guy, right?
David Cassidy?
Yeah.
No.
I thought the Cassidys
He
were
was
the Bay
his
City
older brother.
Rollers.
On the,
I'm
on the
not going to
Partridge
defer
family.
to you. Okay. Okay, I remember now. Who was,
David-
was
so-
any of these guys in the Bay City
So
Rollers?
David
Okay.
Cassidy looked like he should have been. Brother of Sean Cassidy. Anyway.
I'm thinking of the Staying Alive guys that had the other brother.
You are. Yeah. The Gibbs.
The Gibbs.
Very
But there
good.
was like Andy Gibb that wasn't in the Gibbs.
We're not talking about the Gibbs.
I know, but that's where I got mixed up.
Don't get me going on Leif Garrett. He's a good guitar player. He's very good. Have you seen him play guitar?
No.
He's great. Leif Garrett is a great guitar player. He's bald now.
You're not talking. No, you're taking the wrong guy.
That's
You're
Leif
talking
Garrett.
about "Baby, I Love Your Way."
Yeah, that's Leif Garrett.
Not Leif Garrett.
Who is it?
That is Peter Frampton Comes Alive.
Same
It's
guy.
No, it's not.
Same guy.
Frampton's a great guitar player.
He is a great guitar player.
Right.
So is
He's-
Leif Garrett.
He's no Leif Garrett.
There's no Leif Garrett. So anyway, what happened is Peter's pretty upset that Greg went around and did this fight without
Sounds
him.
like he stole a magic amulet.
Yeah. Real Brady Bros almost didn't happen because of it. because
How did they reconcile? Because this show's been blowing up so much.
Then Danny Bonaducci becomes a radio star for like 35 years. He was here in Seattle as well. In fact, he found my dog one day, Nola, in an alley that we shared because he lived down the alley. And I met him because we had the same agent, and he introduced us. So while we were doing radio, he was doing radio here. And the way that he got into radio is David Cassidy calls him one day and says, hey, I'm going out on tour. I'd like you to come and open up. And he goes, well, what do you want me to do? I can't really sing. And when he was playing the bass, the Partridge Family was all fake.
I thought he was the drummer.
No, he wasn't. That was Chris. Chris was the drummer. Dan Bonaducci was the redheaded bass player.
I thought this whole time he was the drummer.
No.
All right. Fair enough.
I think that guy's name was like Chris Foster, David. They had two different drummers because two different kids played the drummer on Partridge
Like I said,
Family.
I didn't watch it.
And Ruben Kincaid, drove the bus.
Ruben Kincaid.
Ruben Kincaid is no longer with us.
Oh, I'm sure. He was old then.
So anyway, by the way, when they fought, Florence Henderson called up, who was the mom over on the Brady Bros. She was very upset that Greg lost to Danny Bonaducci.
So what's the upshot of this episode? Because I'm never going to listen to this show.
Well, here's what's interesting about it. Because I didn't know how Danny Bonaducci got into radio. Is he was not doing anything with his life. He said I was doing lots of drugs, steroids. And so David Cassidy calls me and says, hey, I'm going to go on tour, but here's the deal. There's no strippers. There's no drugs. There's no alcohol. David Cassidy at that time, in fact, he died of alcoholism. But at the time, he was trying not to drink. And he said, hey, we're going to go on this tour. Ruben Kincaid was not around to drive the bus. Otherwise, I think they would have had him. So he said, hey, we got to stay clean and sober on this tour, and then you're going to open up. And he said, if you do this, and he said, well, I'm not going to do that if I have to stay clean and sober. And then he started trying to get some other jobs. He couldn't. So he called him back one day. And he said, yeah, I'll do the tour, what I got to do. And he goes, well, just come out and tell some stories. He said, I guarantee you, if you can stay clean and sober during this trip at the end of this, I bet you're offered a job somewhere. And he was offered his first radio. He was. At the end of that tour, he's offered his first radio job in Philadelphia.
Good for him.
And then he attacked the transvestite person at the same station that we were at when he was in Arizona. Remember that?
Vaguely.
He worked at CCP as well.
Oh.
He was the morning
worked at
He was the morning guy. 104.7 CCP. Arizona's hip music channel.
Everybody
Ron
worked at
Don,
that
Jackie
station.
West.
Yeah.
And that's where he got in a fight with they thought maybe he was picking someone up. For the kids I got to talk around it. It's a family show. They thought maybe he was picking someone up.
I understand.
And then
There was an altercation.
There ended up being a fight.
Right.
If he can take down Greg Brady, he can take down anyone. But then you wonder if the fix was in on that too, because he was very good at getting attention. But he lost his job at ZZP, and then he bounced around the country, and then he ended up here in Seattle. So anyway, so that's on the new Brady Bros. I'll send you. I almost sent you a copy of it today because
Please don't.
it's pretty awesome to listen to.
I don't think I could get through it. You know what? In honor of our friendship, I'll listen to 5 minutes of it. And if I'm intrigued, I'll keep listening.
Okay, that sounds good. More in a minute.
You're listening to The Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
All right, you guys, welcome back to the Ron and Don Show. I think our JV, our junior varsity football team, may have gotten a win yesterday. I mean,
That was disappointing.
So we're invited to go over to Eastside Catholic. And when we go over to Eastside Catholic, you're really going to get your teeth kicked in over there because that's like a football power machine.
That's an incredible facility. You
Great
sent
facility.
me a schedule. So just to context, your son is on the Lincoln football squad.
Yep.
And I have not seen a game this year. So you sent me the schedule. And I said, all right, I'm going to make the 6.5 hour drive from Seattle during traffic rush hour.
Sahali, it's way over there.
To get to Sahali.
It was like an hour and a half to get over there.
Oh, he's more than that for me. But anyway,
Gosh, you always have it worse than everyone else.
well, I had to go pick
Why
up.
can't you just go, hour and a half?
It was more like 2 hours, but okay. Hour and a half drive to get out to the game.
Yeah. So anyway, we get out there. You have your binoculars on, so you're there to watch a game.
I was ready to roll.
Yeah. It looks like you were wearing some of the team colors. Your girl was there, and we get there, and all of a sudden on my way there, I'm starting to get messages that, hey, The referees haven't showed up for the game against the Catholic Crusaders over here. And so I have an idea. I'm like, well, your dad was a ref.
I was a ref for many, many years.
I watch TV. I see refs on there all the time. I still got a couple whistles in my truck from back in the day when I used to do whistle. I would teach my swim class with a whistle. So, and then I've been doing some volunteer, and I'm like, you know what? I'll get Upshaw. We'll ref this game.
I could ref a high school game.
So I went right out on Team Snap, and I said, hey, I'll be the referee. My friend Ron is going to be there. I don't know how it's going to go, but we'll rep the game. Everybody's pretty happy. So and then we end up getting there. We find out, well, the referee wasn't the problem. You were there before I got there. What happened?
There were referees at the game.
They were there. Yeah.
The East Side
Catholic
Crusaders were not on the field. I was told by another person that I ran into that it was curriculum night at Eastside Catholic.
Yeah.
And so for whatever reason, there was no squad there. It was just what's the Lincoln Beavers?
The Lincoln Lynx.
Lincoln Lynx.
Just the Lynx.
It was just the Lynx solo on the field in their away unis. The white ones. That's a good-looking uniform.
The team was ready.
Yeah, they were ready to roll, and no game happened.
The guys were looking forward to it.
We had the cookies were there. We had some Rice Krispie treats.
They were all there.
Some Gatorade.
But again,
you had school bus.
You had your binoculars.
My binoculars were ready to zoom in and watch some.
Our friend Scotty was on the way.
And
you were there. Your girl was there. Scotty was coming. I was there.
Off.
Yeah. So here's the question. The Crusaders said that they forgot that there was a game. And they forgot that it was curriculum night. The referees didn't forget because they were there. We didn't forget because we're standing there on their home field.
They forgot there was a game?
They're saying that they forgot. Now what they would like to do, instead of taking the loss, is they want to replay the game next Monday night.
Are they going to pay for your bus?
I don't know because I paid for the bus. It's like $600 to $800, and then you got to pay the refs too. It's like $1,000 a night for Don of the Ron and Don over here because we have to pay for these. So my thought is because these kids, man, they gotta dress for because now they have a varsity game tonight. He has to dress for that too. I think that's a win.
I think they forfeited the game. If you have a game scheduled.
No, what the Crusaders are saying, and these are the Catholics for you. I grew up in the Catholic Church. We are liars, pants on fires. We are. So the Crusaders are saying, no, we forgot. So it's not a forfeit.
It's a forfeit.
It is a cancellation of the game. Plus, we were doing school stuff. We had curriculum night. You guys, which you can imagine, the parents are very, very excited about doing this an hour and a half drive back out to the Crusader game. And I'm just thinking, I think we take the win. If they want to play again on Monday, they can come to our field.
I think that's a forfeit by them 100%.
Yeah.
If you don't show up for a scheduled game, you forfeit the game.
That's it.
And I wouldn't even do a rematch. I think on your schedule now it says Lincoln won the Crusader game. That's
Problem
a W.
is we don't have a field to invite them to because Memorial Stadium is being churned up right now because they're redoing it, and Memorial Stadium is actually our home field.
I honestly feel really badly for the Lincoln kids.
I did too.
When you're a freshman or a sophomore in high school and you get dressed up, I don't know if they wear their jerseys to school.
Oh yeah,
and you're geeked up all day to play that game, and then you get on the bus and you're ready to roll, and you've been studying your playbook, and you get out there and to not play, it's a big disappointment.
Well, I asked my son. I said, "How are you doing?" We were driving back. He goes, "Well, I'm a little bent." And I said, "Why are you bent?" He goes, "Well, I played the song." I went, "Oh." There's a certain song he plays at our house.
Yeah.
You're just locked. It's the song that locks you in.
Jacked up.
I can't tell you what the song is. I'm sure you like to know.
I don't want to know.
It might be a Leaf Garrett song.
Okay.
Anyway, so he plays his song. He's locked in. He's at school all day. Biology class, he's still locked in. He's taking a creative writing class, still locked. He's taken a class on how to speak Japanese this year. He's still locked in on football. Then you do that ride all the way out there, and you are ready to get off the bus and hit a Catholic, right?
And they take it away.
And the Catholics take you out like that. Anyway, I do have to say, in some ways, I'm glad we didn't play them because they recruit like 350 pounds. It's like $30,000 to go to school there. Same with O'Day. And what they do is they give away quote unquote scholarships to kids that can't afford. So they go out and they buy. In my opinion, Kennedy does the same thing. They give away scholarships. They buy a lot of kids.
Talented athletes.
Yeah, and because they are private schools, they can do that. They can raise money and go out and recruit kids.
Maybe just happen to be good Catholic kids.
All those programs are in the tippity top.
That's upsetting, though. I'll try to go to a game closer to home next time.
Yeah, and I was upset that you didn't get to ref because your dad was a ref.
I'm a good referee.
Yeah,
I'm fair, balanced, and unafraid. We
could have reffed that game. And I think I would have. I think if we would have reffed that game, we might have been too hard on Lincoln. Because you overcorrect sometimes. So anyway, there may or may not be a game next Monday.
Let me know.
Tonight we're heading out.
I will not be going to the east side.
Tonight we're playing Franklin. And then did you see what happened with Garfield?
No.
Garfield today said we have to forfeit our next 2 games. Guess what? The first game. Guess who they're forfeiting?
Roosevelt.
Eastside Catholic.
Interesting.
They're like, yeah, we don't have enough varsity players because when you go over there, you get your ass beat by the Catholics. They know what they're doing. They know how to play ball. I don't think our JV though would have. Like our JV this year is pretty good. It's pretty good. But yeah, those Catholics can play some ball.
That's a win for you guys. They didn't show up.
We're going to take the win.
I agree.
Our first win of the year.
100%.
All right, thank you. Anyway, we got to get out of here. Tell the people.
Yeah, so we're actually real estate brokers. We would love to represent you. You can go to ronandonsitdown.com. Let's talk about buying, selling, or investing. Don and I are experts in all 3 of those.
Yeah. So ronandonsitdown.com if you need us. Our thanks to Grace today and Matt, my son Gunner, station voice, our good friend Charlie the dog. He's Ron, I'm Don. Until next time, keep your head up and your shoulders back. And don't forget, you've been listening to the Ron and Don Show all night on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Hey, it's G-Force O'Neill. Thanks for listening to my dad and his boyhood friend, Mr. Ron.